The night the devil came, number 7 of the Raven Revenge and the Reckoning. I laid down after supper, full and warm from the first time in a long time. While the room was quiet, the bed soft beneath me. Felt like I was finally somewhere safe. But safety doesn't always keep dreams away. And sure enough, the dreams came. It started with a name whispered in a saloon 2 towns back. I'd ask around like I always did, never expecting much, just a question here and there. But this old miner, drunk on rye and was leaning heavy on the bar, said he'd seen a man fitting McGregor's description in a mining camp up north. Big fellow, scar on his cheek, rode a dappled gray, drank alone, didn't talk much. Said he came through a week ago and was probably still up there. Wasn't much, but after 5 years of deals and dead ends and damn lies, it was more than I'd had in months. So I rode 3 long days through wind, sands, and dry creek beds and coyote trails. I didn't let myself hope too hard. I just followed the thread, the only one I had. When I finally saw the camp, it rose out of the canyon like a blister, rough and ugly. Buildings leaned every which way, slapped together with whatever wood they could find. Smoke curled out of the chimneys, voices carried. I hitched Buck outside the general store and stepped inside, dust clinging to my coat. It was dim in here, shelves crooked, floor creaking under my boots. A young clerk stood behind the counter, hair slicked back like he was born 2 decades too late for this place. "Something I can help you with?" he asked. "Coffee, tobacco, and whatever passes for bread around here." He smirked and started gathering supplies. "You new to the camp?" "Just passing through." "You look like you've been through worse." I gave a grunt, tossed a few coins on the counter. "Anyone around here that ever go by the name McGregor?" The kid's hands paused for a fraction too long, but he didn't look up. "Can't say I know anyone by that name." "Didn't ask if you knew him, ask if anyone goes by it." He hesitated, then slid the supplies toward me. "If I were you, I'd stay clear of the saloon tonight. He's likely to be there. Snake mean, and none to be trifled with." I tucked the goods into my saddlebag, gave a single nod, and walked back into the sun. The saloon sat low on the edge of the street, paint flaking, windows fogged with years of whiskey breath and hate. I stepped inside. Dark, smell of smoke, sweat, and dried lumber. I took a corner seat, ordered stew and rye, and kept my head low. My hand never strayed far from the butt of my gun. And then there he was, McGregor, swaggered in. He moved slow, deliberate, shoulders like ox yokes, jaws tight. Walked like a man used to being watched but never questioned. He got a drink, scanned the room, dawdled a bit, and then headed almost directly toward my table. He was only several feet away when his eyes locked on mine. They widened and then hardened. The name came out like a curse. Killian. I was halfway up, my hand already on the butt of my Colt. Damn glad for the shoulder holster. I started wearing one recently, so it was easier to hide my iron. I ripped it free. The barrel came up level. It was like slow motion. He'd already cleared leather, and the muzzle came up level with mine. 2 shots cracked like thunder. My shoulder, hot lead, ripped through the flesh. I dropped my gun. McGregor staggered, tipped over as he hit the floor. His gun skidded across the plank boards. Blood poured from his side where the bullet had ripped a big hole. I was on him like a wildcat. It was a death struggle, and we both knew it. Fists, elbows, teeth, we crashed into the tables, rolled through broken glass. He pulled a Bowie knife, staggered to my feet, grabbed a chair, and smashed it across his face. He dropped the knife. I was on him again, hand going straight for his throat. He fought dirty. He bit my wrists. I twisted free. He reached with his left, grappling for the knife, dragging it up toward my side. I slammed my elbow down on his arm, forcing the blade low. He only managed to get it into my thigh instead of my ribs. The pain was white hot, but I didn't let go. I felt the blood running down my back. My shoulder and leg were wet with blood. His eyes turned blue. His eyes bulged. His face turned blue. His eyes bulged. I felt him slipping, his strength ebbing. Then he went still. I held on a few seconds longer just to be sure. Then it was over. McGregor lay dead on the floor, blood spreading beneath him like a shadow. I stood, staggering. My shoulder useless, my legs soaked, burning with pain. No one moved. The whole saloon was stone silent. I picked up my pistol, limped to the door, and dragged myself into the saddle. Buck didn't flinch. I jerked his head around and headed south, hell for leather, like the devil was after me. When I woke, shirt soaked through, I could still feel the knife in my thigh, the slick blood on my hands. I sat up slow, shoulders screamed. I reached for my jacket and hat, crept downstairs and stepped into the street. It was still dark and empty. Then clear and echoing came the sound. That damn raven calling. It swooped down, landed on a post across from me, staring like I'd watched the whole thing play out in my head. I snapped, picked up a rock and hurled it. The bird flapped and flew, disappearing into the pines. I lit a cigarette with shaking hands, watching the smoke rise like ghosts from my breath. Eventually I went back in, laid down, closed my eyes. And when the bell rang for breakfast, I was already half awake, sore but breathing, and the dream still clung to me like the stink of a skunk. I got up and went down for breakfast. Table was set. I didn't spend a lot of time eating. I paid my bill and asked him to have the stable boy bring up my horse. When I got out, he was waiting. I caught a stirrup and was on his back, and me and old Buck left out of there at a trot heading to the southeast.